Very well. Let us chant the last 10 verses of chapter 9. Yanti devavruta devan pitrin yanti pipitrvrataha bhutani yanti bhutejyaha yanti madhyajinopi mam patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवम् मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारः भजते माम् अनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थ व्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युपापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणा पुण्याः भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तः मध्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैष्यसि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः We are on verse 23, isn't it? Sorry, 33, isn't it? Bhakti Yoga can be seen as a lifestyle. Bhakti Yoga can be seen as the right attitude behind action. There are two ways of looking at Bhakti Yoga. One way of looking at Bhakti Yoga is a lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga. And today, that lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga is what people misunderstand as Bhakti. What is the lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga? The lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga is going to temples, going on pilgrimage tours, singing bhajans. If there is a specific lifestyle, if led, that is understood as Bhakti Yoga. That is one way of understanding Bhakti Yoga. That is why in Vedanta people ask, why in Vedanta there is no Bhakti at all? Why in Vedanta there is no Bhakti at all? That lifestyle of Bhakti is different from the right attitude that you bring into everything that you do as Bhakti. So there are two things. One is lifestyle of Bhakti, meaning I go to every morning, I wake up, do certain pujas, do certain rituals, go to a temple, do some bhajans, go on pilgrimage tour, and I have a particular deity. So many, all that associated things that goes with a specific lifestyle of Bhakti. That lifestyle of Bhakti you can follow very mechanically and not be a devotee at all. This is what we are discussing. You can follow that lifestyle. People are following that lifestyle. And that following that lifestyle can be a very mechanical approach of following that lifestyle and may not be Bhakti at all. Distinct and different from that is bringing in the right attitude towards all that you do is understood as Bhakti properly. Having said that, is Vedanta against those kind of practices? No, they are not against those practices as long as those practices are reminding you to get back to the proper Bhakti. As long as those practices are reminding you to get back to the right understanding of Bhakti, those practices are meaningful. Those practices are helpful. Those practices are meaningful. If it is not helping a person to get back to the real Bhakti, then that practices itself becomes very mechanical, ritualistic, which is of no use. So when Vedanta explains this, it is misunderstood as it is criticizing those practices of Bhakti, and in Vedanta there is no Bhakti at all. So the first thing that we have to understand is a lifestyle is given as a discipline. A particular lifestyle is recommended so that the discipline prevents the mind from running all over the place. To that extent, the discipline works. Then what is right Bhakti? That is what chapter 9 is all about. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya, royal knowledge and royal secret. So that is the royal knowledge, and that's the royal secret, the proper knowledge. And what is that proper knowledge that we are talking about? The royal knowledge that we are talking about here. The royal knowledge that we are talking about here is the lifestyle of Bhakti per se doesn't become Bhakti. Number two, that lifestyle of Bhakti isn't wrong either. Third, as long as it helps you to get back to the proper understanding, it is useful. Okay. What is the proper understanding of Bhakti then? What is Bhakti then? What is the proper understanding of Bhakti then? The proper understanding of Bhakti is while doing the action, it is called Arpana Buddhi. In relation to the action, in relation to the result of the action, it is called Prasada Buddhi. In relation to the doing of the action, it is Arpana Buddhi. In relation to the result of the action, it is called Prasada Buddhi. This is royal knowledge, this is the royal knowledge, and this is the royal secret. Now it is no more a secret to us because now it's not a secret anymore because we know that now. We know what it is. We have understood what it is. We know what it is, and we understood what it is. If you follow this lifestyle, what is the lifestyle now? What is the lifestyle that you are that he is recommending you to follow? Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. Remember that. Not the lifestyle of going to the temple, not the lifestyle of chanting, not the lifestyle of singing, not that lifestyle. If you follow the lifestyle of Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi, what happens? Your yoga and kshema, I take care. Your yoga and kshema is my responsibility. Yoga kshema vahamyaham. I take responsibility for your welfare, provided you live this kind of a lifestyle. Here people misunderstand that they can lead a different kind of a lifestyle, which is what people call as bhakti yoga. And then they expect that God will take care of yoga and kshema. And when they see God is not taking care of yoga and kshema, they come back and say, I did everything very religiously, sir. I'm a very religious person. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't know, whatever it is. But still, God didn't take care of me. He left me alone. He's supporting all the non-devotees. He's protecting. I am the devotee and he is not protecting me. For which the answer is that lifestyle is an elementary step. Don't get stuck to that lifestyle of bhakti as in the puja, the rituals, the chanting, etc. And people doing that is better than not doing anything. Remember that. Doing that is better than not doing anything. But that alone doesn't make it bhakti yoga. This is royal knowledge. This is the royal knowledge and this is the royal secret. Whoever follows this, their welfare is my responsibility. All that you got to do is what? Change the direction. At your present is of no consequence. Then the second part that he said is, follow what bhakti is. And if you have to follow bhakti is, he is not worried about you having to become the highest bhakta and all. Krishna is not worried you have to become a Mirabai or those kind of gopis and all that for Krishna to take care. Wherever you are, irrespective of your present, I will take care. Irrespective of your present, I will take care. For which he said, you may be the Rakshasa, you may be the Asura. And then verse number 32, he said a few things which is very irritating to people. So we leave that verse out of choice. And verse number 33, how can Krishna talk like that? But actually, sir, Krishna is not talking like that. It is Vyasa that is talking like that. We really don't know whether there is Krishna speaking or Vyasa speaking. I don't know who's talking. Because he said, even women, even this, even that. Oh, you are all, how much ever you play with words and spin with words and try to make Krishna or Vyasa look holy. You can see the male chauvinistic mindset here. We are not, I said very clearly on the politics line. I don't know whether it is male chauvinism or female torturing the male. In reality, it's the female that makes the male goes through hell. But then we can't talk about women like that. No, this is all politics. And Krishna is not getting into this politics. Krishna has no time to get into this politics of male and female, who's superior, who's inferior. That is all left for others to decide. Whoever has Ananya Chinta, irrespective of where you are, I will take care. It's not that you have to become a very extremely, very high quality human being, then only I will take care. No, as long as you have changed your direction, wherever you are, irrespective of your present, I will take care. For which we saw all the four classifications. If you remember the four classifications of the mind, the four classifications of the mind in terms of the sattva, rajas, and tamas proportion. And then there is a specific quality of the mind that is getting attached. And then what is needed for spiritual development? This is where it is so contradictory to bhakti, in the way that people misunderstood bhakti. What is needed to become a spiritual person? To become a spiritual person, courage and exploratory nature is required. A weak mind that is not unwilling to explore cannot turn spiritual. There is an exploratory nature, there is a conservative nature. These are the two natures. Exploratory nature means willing to take the risk and go into the unknown. Conservatory nature means not willing to take the risk and being contented with whatever the present is. These are the two fundamental human natures. Are you okay till now? Raj, there are two fundamental natures. One is exploratory nature, another is the conservative nature. We have to give a name, no, to these natures. Some name is given, and the name that is given became a political discussion today. For the exploratory nature, the name man is given. For the conservative nature, the name female is given. That's all. If you don't like the name, change it. Change male means conservative nature and female means exploratory nature. Put it that way also. It doesn't make any difference. Why? Because there are these two natures, exploratory nature and conservative nature. For spiritual growth, what is required? Which nature suits spiritual growth? The conservative nature or the exploratory nature? What nature is needed for spiritual growth? Exploratory nature is required. Why? Because it is moving from known to the unknown. In English, it is called moving from known to the unknown. In Sanskrit, it is called moving from drishta to adrishta. In English, it is called moving from known to the unknown. In Sanskrit, it is called drishta to adrishta. No, for spiritual growth, what is required? That is very clear now. Exploratory nature or conservative nature. Conservative nature is not willing to take the risk, not willing to explore. A mind, a nature that is frightened, a nature that doesn't want to take any risks. That is the conservative nature. Another nature is exploratory nature. What is exploratory nature? Willing to plunge into the unknown. When you are plunging into the unknown, you have to leave the comforts of the known. You can't carry the comforts of the known and plunge into the unknown. That is not possible. Again, I repeat, if you have to go into the unknown, if you have to plunge into the unknown, you got to leave the comforts of the known. That courage to leave the comforts of the known and plunge into the unknown is the very exploratory nature, and that exploratory nature is what is required for spiritual growth. In the name of bhakti today, that exploratory nature is not at all promoted. If at all there is exploratory nature, what is exploratory nature? First of all, there is no exploration at all, because bhakti itself is coming out of a fear. Bhakti itself is coming out of an insecurity. In the way that people have misunderstood bhakti, coming out of fear is coming out of insecurity. What is the fear? What is insecurity? I am suffering. I don't want to suffer. If I do something, God will take care of God will protect me. God will take care of me. This is the conservative nature. Therefore, he says, for spiritual growth, what kind of nature is required? The exploratory nature is required. And very few have the courage to plunge into the unknown. Remember the story, Plato's metaphor, the Plato's cave metaphor? Beautiful metaphor. Everybody in that cave, irrespective of the physical body, everybody in the cave can be called as again, political discussion, but what to do? Some word I have to use. Everybody in the cave, whether in the male body or the female body, are all considered one nature and one young, why call boy? Say girl nowadays, no, story only, no. One young girl had the courage, if that satisfies people. One young girl had the courage to wake up. Instead of boy, put the thing as girl there. Doesn't make any, that exploratory nature. What Krishna is saying is that exploratory nature is what is required for spiritual growth, and whoever has this exploratory nature and willing to explore me, willing to come to me, I take care of their yoga and kshema. You need not worry about your yoga and kshema. I take care of that. And then he went on to say all the, even if it is a dushtatma, duratma, vaishya, shudra, brahmana, kshatriya, he has covered the entire spectrum of beings. Having covered the entire spectrum of beings, he is saying everyone's yoga and kshema, I take care. Everyone's yoga and kshema, I take care. This is nischaya. This is nischaya, means this is something that is clearly explained. Remember that sattva rajas proportion we gave. A, B, C, D. Put it like that in the hierarchy. A, B, C, D. What is A? SRT. SRT na? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. B, RTS. RTS na? Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. C, RST. Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. Shudra. Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. Are you able to understand? Okay. We explained last week. Again, I'm repeating, because in this context, we get a chance to study this. Later on, we may not. Later on, we may not. When do we get another opportunity? We don't know. Until we will do this again in 14th chapter. But in 14th chapter, with the speed I am going, maybe it will take another 5 years to reach, looks like. Therefore, might as well do it one more time. Quality number 1, sattva, rajas and tamas, SRT. Second is rajas, sattva, tamas. Second quality. The third quality is rajas, tamas, sattva. The fourth quality is tamas, rajas, sattva. These are the four possibilities. Irrespective of whatever irrespective of wherever you are, in whatever combination you are having, if you have resolved rightly, I take care. If you have resolved rightly, I take care. Most of the human beings belongs to the category of category D, category C, and no exploratory nature. I'm not saying the word that Shastra is using. It's three. So most belongs to the three categories. What are the three categories? The category D, the category C, and the three. Means no exploratory nature. See, everybody wants to explore, but nobody understands what exploratory nature is. Everybody wants to be exploratory, but nobody understands what exploratory nature means. What is exploratory nature means? Walking all alone is exploratory nature. You can't go as a group and explore. Group exploration doesn't work. If exploratory nature means you are walking alone. You are walking alone and you have the guts to walk alone, and you are willing to take the risks alone, and you are willing to face the consequences, but none of these will prevent you from reaching the destination. That is exploratory nature. Okay, what is exploratory nature means? Any endeavor, what all it goes through? Any endeavor, anything that you start, first thing, what will you face? Vigna. Anything you start, first thing that you will face is Vigna, obstacle. Adhukada Vigneshwara. First thing, before we start anything, why do we pray to Ganesha? He's called Vigneshwara, no? Vigna Ishwara. So while you are starting an endeavor, you are willing to accept. What are you willing to accept? There will be an obstacle. Conservative nature in the angiye, most of the people collapse. At the sight of the first obstacle, they collapse. And then they start looking for walking sticks. With the walking stick, you cannot explore. With the walking stick, what can you do? You can move in circles at the same place. So first thing in any endeavor, first thing that you will face is Vigna, obstacle. What is the second thing that you will face in any endeavor? The second thing that you will face is obstacle. Second thing is things, they may not be an obstacle, and there may not be an external obstacle, there may be an internal obstacle. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's not a mechanical chant. Even when we are starting an endeavor like a classroom like this also, we have to say all these obstacles we are aware of. In spite of this, we will not stop. That is exploratory nature. In spite of this, I will not stop. That is exploratory nature. Opposite of that is what? Remove the obstacle. I want conducive environment. I want the cooperation of everybody. So I want all obstacles should be removed. I want the cooperation of everybody, and also 2-3 fellows to sit around me chanting Sahasranama, my Sahasranama, not Vishnu Sahasranama, my Sahasranama. Pampering. Yeah. What is pampering? If you say Vishnu Sahasranama, that is called pampering. Sorry, that is bhakti. If you want others to chant your Sahasranama, that is called pampering. And everybody wants this. Exploratory nature is exactly the opposite. Irrespective of the obstacles, irrespective of the external pain and the internal pain, the person has the courage to go right till the end. Are you okay? Exploratory nature means not afraid of pain. Full stop. Exploratory nature means no fear of pain. And all human beings are afraid of pain. For small headache, you have to take. You say, okay, let headache be there. So what? I will continue to do what I am doing. You are not in ICU. No. Say headache. You are not in ICU. But then human mind is so weak. What is weakness? What is weakness of a human mind? Fear of pain. So I'm willing to explore. I'm willing to grow. I'm ready to do everything. I'm ready to do. So only one thing should not happen. What? There shouldn't be a pain. Krishna says, you don't fear pain. You are willing to explore, unmindful of the pain. Your yoga and kshema is my responsibility. If you are willing to proceed, if you are willing to grow, unmindful of the pain, your yoga and kshema is my responsibility. But people are not willing to, people are afraid of, people fear pain. Because of the fearing of the pain, they don't explore. Okay, those who fear pain, some name has to be given, no? Okay, forget the Vedantic name. Forget forget the name that Vyasa gives. Forget the name that Shastra gives. What name will you give for this person? A person who is afraid of pain. A person who is afraid of pain. What name will you give to that person? They are giving a name, and that name is very political now. Yeah, so forget that name. What name will you give to a person who is afraid of pain? And they think God will take care of the pain so that painlessly they can grow. Are you able to follow the misunderstanding? People are afraid of pain, and they misunderstand God will come and take care of the pain so that God goes through the pain. We will go through. We will be painlessly, we will be growing. In Christianity, they say, Christ goes through pain for us. So we don't have to go through any pain. He will take care of the pain because he will go through the pain for us. Christ will say, I went through the pain for my sake. If you want to grow, you want to become the Christ, what you got to do? When he was, take up your cross. Don't worry about my cross. See, you know what happened in Christ's life, no? The Last Supper, and then he was arrested. Supreme Court bench didn't take a night break. So the hearing happened in the night, and judgment was passed in the night and executed in the morning. Midnight judgment is passed. What is the judgment passed in midnight? Put that man on crucify. And when it has to be executed? Next morning. And who has to carry the cross? Who has to carry the cross? Because he's going to be crucified on the cross at the top of the mountain. Now, who will carry the cross up to the mountain? Christ himself. So he is made to carry the cross right up to the mountain, and he was carrying the cross. As he was carrying the cross, he was flogged, he was whipped, that weight, that burden, everything was so tiring, so painful. Suddenly one person came and said, can I carry your cross for a while? Christ smiled at that person and said, I take care of my cross. You want to follow me? Take up your cross and follow me. Take up your cross and follow me. Don't worry about my cross. So the whole Christianity is believing what? He will go through the pain so that painlessly we will grow. Krishna comes and says, that even the so-called Bhakti tradition here also believes in the same thing. Our பார்த்து பாருங்க சார் எல்லாமே நம்ம எதுவுமே பண்ண வேணாம் சார். He will take you from, like in the movies they come, no? Like in the movies they'll come and they'll just lift you up and take you to Moksha, Vaikunta, I don't know where they will take you. Fearlessness. Fearlessness about what? Fearlessness about pain, fearlessness about failure. So two are the two things, fearlessness about pain and fearlessness about failure. Knowledge, exploratory nature means these two. And today, all human beings, when I say all human beings means 98% or maybe 99% also, are having these two fears combined disproportionately. What are the two fears disproportionately they have? One is the fear of pain, second is fear of failure. They don't call it as the fear of failure, they say it as perfectionism. If I can't do perfectly, I will not do, sir. Anything I do, I have to do it perfectly. If I can't do it perfectly, I will not do, because Vedanta also says everything has to be done perfectly, no? Vedanta has never said that. Vedanta has never said do everything perfectly. Vedanta only says do everything sincerely, not perfectly. Do everything sincerely, not perfectly. Your fear makes you to, it is your fear that brings in that word perfection. Why? Because if I can't do it perfectly, what will I do? I will simply drop. Are you able to follow? This is the human mind today. This is the human mind today. Not only today, always the human mind is this. Therefore, he comes and says, how to handle this? You can have any of these natures, and if you have rightly resolved, I will protect you. What is rightly resolving means? This is where we left last week. Anityam asukam lokam. Anityam asukam lokam. That clarity they have. It is anityam, it is asukam. Impermanent and joyless world. It's an impermanent world and a joyless world. But sir, we are experiencing joy from the world, no? We are experiencing joy from the world, no? World is joyless. Then what is the joy that you are experiencing? What is the joy that we are experiencing sometimes? What is that joy? Where is that joy coming from? We are all experiencing some joy. Where is that joy coming from? Isavasyamidam sarvam yakkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitam. If at all there is any joy in the world that anybody is experiencing, that joy comes out of only sacrifice. If at all anybody experiences any joy, even relatively, temporarily, that joy comes out of only tena tyaktena bhunjitam. Tena tyaktena bhunjitam means, may you enjoy through sacrifice. May you enjoy through sacrifice. If at all there is any joy, that joy is only through sacrifice. Little bit of sacrifice, little bit of joy. More sacrifice, more joy. Only sacrifice, only sacrifice, only joy. That's the life of the selfless person. Is so joyful all the time because life is full of sacrifice. Tena tyaktena bhunjitam. Isavasya Upanishad makes it very clearly. Isavasya Upanishad says it very, very clearly. Because on the one hand, the Shastra keeps saying anityam asukam, anityam asukam. But then in our practical life, we experience some happiness also. Where is that happiness coming from? Because if we say this lokam is asukam, where is that joy coming from? Where is that happiness coming from? That happiness comes only through sacrifice. Tena tyaktena bhunjitam. May you enjoy through happiness. If you are experiencing any happiness that is not out of sacrifice, Bhagavad Gita, he already explained it in chapter 5. Wombs of sorrow. Shastra is very, very clear. They are very, very clear. How much they explained it so beautifully. If you experience any joy that is not out of sacrifice, but out of indulgence, wombs of sorrow. It appears as joy, but turns out to be destructive. 18th chapter again is going to say that. Already he has said it in the 5th chapter. Wombs of dukkha yonaya. Yoni means the womb. The wombs of sorrow. The wombs of sorrow. Therefore, he says, what is the right resolving means? Anityam, asukam. This world is full of, it is anityam, it is asukam. We understand it as anityam, and we are not able to accept the anityam, and we want the anityam to become nityam. Again, I repeat, we understand everything as changing. We understand everything as temporary, but not able to accept it. Not willing to accept the temporary nature. Somehow we try to keep the impermanent permanent. It is anityam. Not understanding this anityam nature, people ask this question. When to start spiritual life, sir? What is the right age to start? When should we do that? Chinna vayasula, you should not waste time in spirituality and all. When you are young, you should try to learn how to become manipulative, wicked, cunning. You should learn all that first when you are young. And then what do you do when you are old? And then what happens when you are old? Worry about next janma. When to start spiritual life? Wherever you are, start now. Wherever you are, start now. And what is the starting point of spiritual journey? Anityam is understood as anityam. Where there is sukham, you understand it as asukam. Where all you think sukham is, you understand it as there is no sukham in that. How much ever we keep hearing this, mind will still go back and say, somehow the anityam can be made nityam, somehow from asukam, that asukam can be converted into sukham. This is the most important thing. What is the most important thing? To understand the anityam as anityam. What he said in chapter 2? Chapter 2, he said, Matrar spashas kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha Agamapayino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. Agamapayinaha anityaha. Here he is saying anityaha and asukam. Just keep remember these words. That's all. Agamapayinaha anityaha. That's what he said in chapter 2. Now he is using the word anityam and asukam. Imam lokam. This world is anityam. What is anityam? That which exists as long as you see it, and that which ceases to exist when you stop seeing it. It's not definition. Romba complicated definition. This is anityam. That which exists as long as you see it and ceases to exist when you stop seeing it. Snake is anityam. Snake exists as long as you see it. The moment you stop seeing it, snake ceases to exist. This is anityam. This is called anityam. What is asukam? Asukam is that which appears as joy. That which appears as joy, and that superficial joy appears to be like the permanent joy. And the human beings becomes a victim to the superficial joy. Example of becoming a victim to the superficial joy and happiness. What is oft-quoted example? Anybody? Becoming a victim for this superficial joy. What is oft-quoted example? He keeps repeating it again and again and again. What is that example? Whenever I want to catch a breath, I ask a question. No, I have to take a breath. I need to catch some breath. What is that example? Sankaracharya. Correct. Raj, correct. And you know why he is correct? Because before the class I told him that. That's why. Just before the class I said this. Give a chocolate and a currency note. A bar of chocolate on the right hand and a bundle of currency notes on your left hand. Offer both to a 2-year-old. What the child will take? What the child will take? The currency, yeah. Because it will take the currency and it will start drawing on the currency, isn't it? Because it's a paper. In the school, they say, in the school project report, kindergarten project report, then only you can graduate. Because they give graduation ceremony in the kindergarten, no? And they give certificate also. You have graduated, isn't it? First time I heard graduating from play school to LKG is when Swati went through that. Yeah. One day in Mysore, my father said, hey, we have to go to school. I said, why do I go to school? No, graduation ceremony. What? Play school and the LKG graduation ceremony, isn't it? And if you have to do graduation, you have to do a project report. Sorry, you have to do a project, no? So a project is given. What is a project given? Mahatma Gandhi picture. Find and bring the Mahatma Gandhi picture is the project report given. And what the child does? Where is Mahatma Gandhi picture available? In lot. Subramaniam, enga irukku Mahatma Gandhi picture? 2000 rupee note. Yeah. So what the child does? Take a scissor, cut the 2000 rupee note and bring the Gandhi picture. What will happen to the father and mother? What will happen to that father and mother? Heart attack they will get, no? That bundle of 2000 notes and a bar of chocolate you offer to the child, what the child will take? What the child will take? The chocolate only the child will take. Why? Because the buddhi of the child can only see the joy of the chocolate, and that is asukam. Why it is asukam? Appears like amritam and ends up like visham. This is anityam and asukam. Those who have understood it as anityam and asukam, they change the direction. Are you able to follow? Their direction is changed. Irrespective of where you are, this possibility is there. What is the possibility? To change your direction. And when you change your direction and when you are sincere and dedicated in that path, any number of times you may slip. When you are sincere and dedicated and moving in the path, any number of times you slip, don't worry about slipping. Why? I am there, no, to take care. What are you worried? What an assurance is giving. Any number of times you will slip. And don't worry about slipping, because worrying about slipping, you will not do anything. Fear of failure. So correct varalana utrunu sir. Thiruppi pannave koodadhu, isn't it? Or what you try pannu, rendu vaati try pannu varalana, leave it and go to the next. Any number of times you slip, don't worry. Why? Because you are having this ananya chinta, your yoga and kshema is my responsibility. Since you are having this ananya chinta, irrespective of where you are, don't worry about you slipping any number of times, because your welfare is my ananya chinta. Because of this ananya chinta, your welfare is my responsibility. This is verse number 33. And then we'll move on to verse number 34, the last verse of this chapter. Verse number 34. Padi.
Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji man namaskuru mame vaishyasi yukvaivam atmanam matparayanaha manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yukvaivam atmanam matparayanaha.
Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me, thus uniting yourself to me, taking me as the supreme goal, you shall come to me. Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me, thus uniting yourself to me, taking me as the supreme goal, you shall come to me. Yeah. Me, how many me's he say, isn't it? How many me's? Concluding verse. Summarizing all that he has been telling us, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya, along with the guidelines to practice. What is it? Manaha. Fix the mind on me. Fix the mind on me. Mat bhakta. Be devoted to me. Namaskuru. Prostrate to me. Madhyaji mam. Do sacrifice to me. Having thus united, taking me as a supreme goal, you shall come to me. So how do you understand? First, you take me as a supreme goal. having taken me as a supreme goal, having kept me as a supreme goal, what all you should do? Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me. By these four practices, you will unite with me and you will come to me. This is how you should read. So what is the sequence? First, take me as a supreme goal. Supreme goal means what? Take me as a supreme goal means nothing else should appear important to you. If anything else is appearing important, then it is not the supreme goal. So what the supreme goal means? This is the only important thing in my life. Rest and all doesn't exist, matter. That is called taking me as a supreme goal. I understand God is very important, sir, but mind is elsewhere. It means wherever the mind is, that's what your goal is, not what you are verbally talking. Where your mind is constantly running, that's what your goal is. Always find out where your mind is constantly running. And it will not run towards, I don't know, to wherever your mind is constantly running, that's what is important to you. Lot of training and discipline is required to make the mind understand what is factually important. What is factually important? What is factually important? Me. Where is the problem? What is factually important? Obviously, it is. Obviously, it is. It is me. For certain, you will reach me. If you keep me as a supreme goal, for certain, you will reach me. Satatam kirtayantaha mam yataschanta dridhavrataha. Verse number 14. Ide chapter da. Same chapter. Verse number 14. Satatam kirtayantaha. Always glorifying me, striving, firm in vows, prostrating before me, steadfast. Nitya yukta upasate. Abram. Yatkaroshi yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi dadhasi yat, yattapasyasi kaunteya, tatkurushva madarpanam. Idenga. Same chapter, 27. Verse number 14, verse number 27. Abram. Patram pushpam palam toyam. Verse number 26. Number la mati solra because I am talking from my so the numbers are jumbled up, but verses are jumbled up, but numbers na correct solidra Venkat. Yeah, numbers la na mati solra. Yeah, Karoshi Yadashnasi on the 27, chapter 9. Patram pushpam palam toyam on the 20. Patram pushpam palam toyam is verse number 26. Abram. Extraordinary verse. Adepli uda mudiyo. Ananya sintayanto mam ejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam pahamyaham. 22. So 14, 22, 26, 27. Apro the last 5 verses 30, 31, 32, 33. All that clearly explained one thing. What all that clearly explained? Take me as the supreme goal. Keep me as the supreme goal. Devotion is the value that you place, not love. Devotion is the value that you place. Devotion is a sense of value that you place. That is devotion. Sense of value means it looks so important to you. It looks so valuable to you. That is devotion. So what is devotion? Devotion is a sense of value that you place on that. What is the value that you place on God? Artha Bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta, Jignasu Bhakta, and Jnani Bhakta. No, we saw that also, isn't it? What is the value that you place on God? What is the value that you place on God? Shows what is devotion. Madhyaji, sacrifice for me. Sacrifice for me. Where you place a value, love will follow automatically. Where love follows automatically, sacrifice follows it. I have so much of reverence, I have so much of value, I have so much of love, but sacrifice I can't do, sir. Will you say that? Are you able to follow the sequence? Once you place the value, love follows. And what follows love? What automatically follows love? Sacrifice. Therefore, you don't have to tell a person sacrifice at all. You have to say love. And how can you love? Only when it appears valuable to you. Love comes only when something is appearing valuable to you. When it is appearing valuable to you, you will be ready to do anything for that. The boy meets the girl meets the boy. They look so valuable to one another. So they are ready to do anything for that, no? Isn't it? So you will be ready to do anything only when it is valuable to you. Are you okay till now? And this valuable thing must be ananya chinta. You can't have multiple valuable things. You can't have multiple valuable things. Sir, Friday, Sunday 7:45 to 9, sir. Valuable thing is Krishna, Brahman. After that, when we say Om Savana Votu, Brahman becomes valuable. And then when we close the class and say we will meet next week, something else becomes valuable. Valuable means you can't have multiple valuable things. There is only one valuable thing. And that one valuable thing has to be Shashwatam. And that one valuable thing has to be permanent. And that one valuable thing should not be the cause of any sorrow or pain. What is that? What is that one valuable thing that is Shashwata? What is that one valuable thing that cannot cause any pain? What is that one valuable thing that your yoga and kshema is taken care of? What is that one valuable thing? Me. Krishna solrar me na. Krishna is saying me. How many times he said me in one verse? Can there be more egoistic? Can there be anything more egoistic than this? Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me, having this united, your entire being with me, taking me as a supreme goal, you shall come to me. The me, let's tell you, verse is very simple, isn't it? Or the whole meaning of the verse is that me. That me has to be Shashwata, that me should not cause any pain or suffering to you, and that me must be very valuable to you. Then what happens? Whatever he says follows. So what does knowledge do? Knowledge explains the importance of me. The moment the importance of me is understood, that becomes the most valuable. Once that becomes the most valuable, you start loving it. And once you start loving it, you start sacrificing. And when you start sacrificing, how do you do? By namaskara, namaskuru. you start sacrificing, and that sacrifice is out of, and that sacrifice will follow an attitude of prostration. Are you able to follow? Why that namaskuru is very important? Because in sacrifice, there is a giver and then there is a receiver. In sacrifice, there is the giver and then there is the receiver. And in any sacrifice, who will be on a higher plane? Who will be on a lower plane? The giver will be on a higher plane. The receiver will be on a lower plane, isn't it? Obviously, no. In any sacrifice, the giver is higher, the receiver is, or supposing if I come and ask, I want 100 rupees. Who's higher, who's lower? I am asking, I am the receiver. You are giving, you are the giver. Hierarchy, who's in this hierarchy? The giver and the receiver. The giver always is superior, the receiver is inferior. In Vedanta, it is exactly the opposite. The training that is done in Vedantic discipline is the giver will stand, the receiver will sit. The giver has to prostrate to the receiver. Look at the culture. The giver has to prostrate to the receiver. That is why in all the rituals, we give dakshina. At the end of the ritual, we give dakshina, isn't it? And when we give dakshina, you are hungry, you are starving, whole day you are not doing anything, isn't it? You are waiting for that fellows to go out so that you can eat, and they have eaten completely, and they are having the pan also in their mouth there, and then you feel like you feel like saying that to them, isn't it? And then you give dakshina. And when you give dakshina, how do they do? You give, the giver is standing and bending down, pleading and saying, take. Carefully follow. The giver is pleading and saying, take. The receiver is saying, what is the culture? I have said it any number of times. What is the culture? The receiver says, na mama solungo, they will say. The receiver says, na mama solungo means, say not mine. Say not mine and give. Then only I will take. And the mine tag order, if you give, it will not be taken. So you have to suffer, you have to earn, and that man is sitting, you are standing, and then you have to say, not mine, and then that fellow takes. And when that fellow takes, what do you do to that fellow? Prostrate. Namaskuru. This is the culture. This is the beautiful culture. That's what he says. Manmana mava badbhaktaha matyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Parayana means constantly. That parayana means that constant vision on the path. That constant vision on the path. That's why he says matparayanaha. They come to me. So what is he saying here? To summarize, all that we have been discussing this entire chapter, he is summarizing. What is it? Mind fixed on me. The mind by nature that is rambling, mind can do only two things. Either it will ramble or it will fall off to sleep. It will fall off to sleep, it is a tamasic mind. If it is rambling, it is a rajasic mind. This mind that is rambling or falling off to sleep has to be fixed by the intellect. So fixing the mind on me is an intellectual discipline. is a discipline at the level of the intellect. Bhava mat bhaktaha. Be devoted to me. Devotion means the mind will move in this direction where it finds. Mind will move where it finds some hope of joy. Where all you feel that, where all the mind feels there is some joy possible, mind will go there. Movie pata joy in a ticket, movie ticket liye mind will be there, isn't it? Isn't it? Money vanda joy na, all the time it will be thinking about money. If only I can meet that person and marry that person, I will be happy na. Thought will be going towards that person. So wherever your mind is going constantly, that's the area which the mind believes that happiness lies. Devotion, indulging. So from indulgence, it develops a devotional feeling. That is mat bhaktaha. And what is bhakti means? We have seen that already. What is bhakti means? Remember the introduction we gave. An attitude while doing the action, an attitude in relation to the result of the action is bhakti. The attitude while doing the action is arpana buddhi. That's what it's called, dedicated. While doing the action, it is arpana buddhi. In relation to the result of the action, it is prasada buddhi. Number 3, sacrifice to me. Sacrifice is a discipline at the level of the action. So a discipline at the level of the intellect, a discipline at the level of the mind, a discipline at the level of the action. Sacrifice. Sacrifice to me means dedicate your actions to me. Dedicate your emotions towards me. Direct your emotions towards me. Let the intellect get fixed on me. Let all your emotions flow towards me. Let all your actions is for my sake. Namaskuru. Namaskaraha is at the level of the ego. A discipline at the level of the ego. What is discipline at the level of the ego? He puts it very beautifully in the commentary. Thy will be done instead of my will be done. Instead of saying my will be done, you say thy will be done. So prostration is the ego prostrating. Prostration is not the prostration of the body, or it is a prostration of the gross body and the subtle body. Both the bodies prostrate. And when it prostrates so completely. And what it will do? Practice these disciplines. Practice these disciplines. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaha. 4 disciplines, combining all that he has been saying in this chapter. And this chapter is concluded with this verse. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya, royal knowledge and royal secret. What is the royal knowledge? I am the important one is the royal knowledge. What is the royal secret? Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. That's the royal secret. Royal knowledge is, I am important is royal knowledge. What is royal secret? Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. That is the royal secret. With this, we conclude this chapter 9, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya. We will move on to next week. We will be moving on to chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. 2 chapters, beautiful chapters, Vibhuti Yoga and Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. These 2, chapter 10 and chapter 11. With this, we conclude this. With this, we conclude the chapter for today. We start with chapter 10 next week. Do you have anything to...
There is a clarification by Mala there. Let me screen share.
Okay. You said dharma. Okay, previous class. Okay, sir. You said dharma and God are two sides of the coin. So we cannot do adharmic activities and expect God to help us. Correct. However, in Vaishnava sloka called Daya Shatakam, Daya is personified as Daya, mother. Daya is personified as Daya means mother. As mother, to reduce the effect of our misdeeds and recommend ourselves to God. He is otherwise considered as Dandadaraha and would punish all adharma. How? That is question number 1. Second, how do obsession and attachment map to the 3 gunas? Is the Vaishya mindset explained? Translate to Rajasic. The Vaishya mindset, 3 questions she is asking. First question, is the Vaishya mindset translate to Rajasic? Tamasic. Rajas and Tamas combined a lot is the Vaishya. Second question that she is asking is, where does this obsession and attachment come into the three gunas? This obsession and attachment is a predominant tamasic nature. Obsession and attachment is predominantly a tamasic nature. So wherever there is obsession, wherever there is attachment, that is a manifestation of tamo guna. That is answering the second question. Now the first question. She is referring that Daya Shatakam. There are so many shlokas like that, where they say, just as the mother, father is always very strict. Mother is always very forgiving. Therefore, and the only way to influence the father is through the mother, isn't it? You go and talk to the father, nothing will move. You tell the mother, what the mother will go and tell the father, God only knows, and the father agrees. So the same psychology. What is the same psychology? Go to God, go to mother, and please the mother, and mother is full of compassion. Daya she is. Therefore, what she will do? நம்ம பையன் தானே விட்டுருங்க பரவாயில்ல இல்லையா our son no leave him, give him an exception. That doesn't exist in reality. Why? Because the mother can recommend only one who is willing to stick to the path of dharma and may slip. Remember, mother cannot recommend the adharmic person. That recommendation will not work. Mother can recommend one who is sincere in practicing dharma and slipping. That is possible. But that category nobody talks about. That category nobody talks about. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about that category only. What is the category? Making a sincere effort to be dharmic but slipping. Not even making an effort to be dharmic at all and going and saying, forgive me, doesn't work. No mother will do that. That is not Daya Shatakam is saying that. That's not any shlokam is saying that. Or if it is interpreted that way, I don't want to use the word wrong interpretation or misleading. God only has to protect the interpreter and the listener. God only has to protect both. What else to say there? Yes, mother will recommend, and that recommendation works. The question is, whom the mother will recommend? Not the adharmic person. The person who is trying to be dharmic but slipping. A person trying to be dharmic but slipped. That is okay. Because of the effect of the past, we may slip. And that slipping is not that slipping doesn't absolve, that slipping doesn't make you adharmic. Therefore, it is either it is the Vaishnava tradition or Shaivite tradition or the Islamic tradition or any tradition for that matter. God protects. God protects whom? A person trying to be dharmic and slipping is the one who needs protection. Are you able to follow? Who needs protection? A person who is established in dharma doesn't need any protection because he has become God already. So God need not protect God. No. God need not protect God. And God cannot protect the Rakshasa either. Why? Because Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya tambhavami yuge yuge. Therefore, God need not protect God will not protect the wicked. Then who God protects? The one who is trying to be dharmic, one who is making an effort to be dharmic, but because of the past slipping, God says, don't worry, I will protect you. So the protection part is called as female, the danda part is called as male. How insulting it is to the male, no? Yeah. All men should revolt now, isn't it? Danda part is reflected as male and protection part is indicated as female. Both. God has both. God has both. He will protect or she will protect when you try to be dharmic. On how many ever times you slip, doesn't matter. He lifts you up. God lifts you up. That is the meaning of that verse. With this, we conclude chapter 9. We start with chapter 10 onwards in the next session.